I'm Megan Smith. I'm the Director of Legal Education here at NASPO. That's a new position that we've created in order to reach out specifically to this attorney community. You're now in good company. Welcome to the club. This is the Law Institute Club, and you will, I think, quickly be happy that you are a member. It's nice to have this many people in one room who understand what you do, why you do it, and how you do it. I have trouble explaining to my mom what I do still. She understood it when there was a judge and a jury in a courtroom. She doesn't understand it now. And that's how it is, right? So I just want to say welcome, and that you're with a passionate group of people. You will find many friends here, and you will find people who have a common interest and a common goal, and that's doing the best that we can for our states, for our citizens, and with the taxpayer money that we're given in trust. Let's be honest. Being in procurement right now is hard, and being their attorney can be even harder. This is a niche area of the law, and it can be lonely. And it's thankless. Raise your hand if you decided to take this job to be rich and famous. Okay, so, one back there. Sorry, sir. It must be very disappointing for you. Yeah, this is difficult, and not a lot of people understand what you do or what you do every day, what your day is like. And the answer to that is no day is the same. Is that right? Who is NASPO, and why are you here? So we were formally established in 1947 after World War II in order to help distribute the surplus from the war. Our first president was established in Chicago, Illinois, Julio Mazzone. That was not our first president. George Cronin was our first president. We have an award named after Julio Mazzone. That was my bad. Our primary members, so we have technically 53 or 54 primary members, and those are the chief procurement officers in every state. Now, I know what you're thinking. Not every state has a chief procurement officer, and that is correct, because every state likes to be different. So we basically ask the state to designate someone in their office who can be the chief procurement officer for our purposes, and we call them primary members. So, for example, Illinois has 4 chief procurement officers, and one of them is our primary member. And if you are in the procurement office, you report to the CPO, or you're part of the procurement function, you can be a state member at NASPO. So for those of you who are embedded in the procurement office or in the procurement agency, and you may or may not report to the CPO, you can technically be, or you are, a NASPO state member by virtue of being in the procurement office and reporting to the CPO. If you're in the Attorney General's office, you qualify for being an associate member, which is someone who's not necessarily in the procurement office reporting to the procurement officer, but does procurement work in the state, supports the procurement function in the state. However, I'm hoping that that will change in the future, and we'll be able to have a special category for those of you who are in the Attorney General's office but not embedded. But in the meantime, you're part of our community. We want you to join us, and we want you to participate as much as you can. Our main mission is to educate our state procurement officials in elevating the public procurement profession. You'll hear a lot about that. And I think that a lot of that starts with you guys, because attorneys always hold a certain level of gravitas, right? And if you see yourself as a procurement professional, as a procurement attorney, and you sort of exude that to others, I think that other people see that as, a profession, a choice you made, right? I think a lot of procurement officials feel like they fell backwards into that job. Maybe some of you feel like that. But you want to make yourself feel, this is my job, this is my profession, this is my specialty. And we want to honor that feeling here. So we welcome you to join us, and one of my main goals is to convince procurement and legal that they need each other and that they love each other, and that if you spend time together, everything will be a little bit better in the states. So we help the promotion of best practices, education, professional development, research, and innovative procurement strategies. And then I've put up here our 3 big conferences. So these are the other conferences that we have, not as good ones, right? This is the best one. Okay. So we have Exchange. That's where we invite the supplier community to come. They have one-on-one meetings with the chief procurement officers. We have NASPO Annual. That's for our chief procurement officers and their deputies. That's where we have our business meeting. We elect our board. We do business. And then REACH is a regional conference. We used to have 4 regional conferences in each region. that's exhausting. So we decided one year, actually here was the first time we did it. We brought all 4 regions together and had one big mega regional conference, and that's what REACH is. So we do that every year now. So this is our executive team. I just want you guys to see their faces. We're having a board meeting at the same time as this meeting downstairs. So you may not see these people a ton today, but you should see them throughout the week. Lyndall Hatton is our CEO. Please go up to him and talk to him. He's very friendly and kind, and he will be happy to chat with you and meet you. Jennifer Saltz, our Chief of Staff, she's wonderful. Jamie Shore is our Chief Cooperative Procurement Officer, and if you have questions about Value Point, Jamie is your girl. So find her and ask her questions. She's also one of us. Maya is our Director of Membership Engagement, and I want you to know Maya because Maya will help you get connected with the NASPO network. So that's where we have a network of attorneys in a password-protected community where you can discuss and share ideas and thoughts and clauses and statutes and all kinds of fun stuff. So if you aren't in that, you'll want to reach out to Maya. Maya will get you in. Okay, and then we have a legal team. So only 3 years ago, I think, NASPO did not have a legal team. And so we developed one internally, and we have Justin Kaufman, our Chief Legal Officer. He's in the board meeting today, not with us, and Faye Tan, Legal Counsel, is also there. But we do have Bryce Fisk here in person, in the flesh, to come up and talk about what the legal team does. And last but certainly not least, Lydia Ruiz, who is our corporate paralegal. And Lydia is taking the lead in a lot of ways on the Model Procurement Code revision project for the staff. She's helping with a lot of the coordination for that. So if you have questions about the Model Procurement Code, Lydia is a good person to know. Bryce?
Good morning and welcome. My name is Bryce Fisk, and I joined NASPO in May of 22. Prior to joining NASPO, I spent 8 years with the Virginia Attorney General's Office doing procurement work for our Department of Transportation and our Virginia Port Authority. And like so many of you, I just sort of fell into procurement and learned that I loved it, and then felt like I lived in a silo in the AG's office where nobody else even in the office knew what I did or understood my language. And so I was really happy to come to the first Law Institute that I attended last year and see so many other people who actually understood the acronyms I was using and who could actually talk through some of the issues that I was seeing. And so I encourage you all throughout the course of this week to utilize this time to really engage with the other attendees and make sure that you're taking advantage of the fact that everybody here knows what you do, like Megan said. And so like she said, I'm legal counsel with NASPO. We're a small legal team, and a lot of our work is with the Value Point Cooperative. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, the Value Point Cooperative is NASPO's cooperative purchasing division. And we utilize a lead state model where any of our member states are able to lead one of our contracts, and the legal team is here to assist our lead states in any way that our lead states need help. Some lead states take it all on themselves, and some lead states engage us throughout the process for whatever they may need from us. And we're also here to help participating entities and participating states to purchase off of a Value Point contract. So if there is a need in your state that a Value Point contract serves, and your procurement team is looking into purchasing off of it, and you have questions about how your state actually is able to engage with Value Point, please feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help. We want to be a resource for you all, both with Value Point and with sort of a general understanding of what we're seeing around the country. And so, like Megan mentioned, the NASPO Attorney Network is great for that. Please register for that. Please engage with it. We see questions come through and then answers come through very regularly. But we are also here to help if you're seeing issues and you're like, I've been really struggling with this particular vendor. At NASPO, are you seeing things happen with other states where this vendor is doing the same thing? We might be able to offer some guidance or just sort of tell you what we've seen around the country. And I think and we're also working on the Model Procurement Code alongside Megan to help develop a new Model Procurement Code that has not been updated since the early 2000s, which is not very long in the legal world, but feels like a very long time in the procurement world because of so much change in the community. So thank you very much, and I know Megan has a lot of great programming for you all, so please enjoy the conference.
Do what? Yeah, you can clap, sure. I don't know if there's... Good job, Bryce. You all, okay, we're going to be... I don't know if there's anything more awkward than what's going on with this microphone right now. So here it is. It's hanging out of my dress. Not really sure how to get it off me. And that's where we are. So I'm just going to share that with you guys. We're going to be close friends. Thank you, Bryce. And the legal team, I can certainly attest, is not ones to sit in their ivory tower. They certainly will help do whatever they can to help you in your state. And even a problem that's not Value Point, reach out to us because they've practiced in the state. They might actually have an answer for you. So next, I'd like to invite up my boss. Oh, no, wait, sorry, Matt, I was wrong. I'll go back and do C&E. I'd like to welcome my boss, Matt Oyer, the Chief Learning Officer, up to talk a little bit about the education program. These are the education program, my comrades in arms, Rebecca Montano Smith and Jordan Henson. Jordan's currently on paternity leave, but you will meet Becca. And I just wanted Matt to come up and talk a little bit about what the Procurement U team, the education team, does and what they can do for you. And I will now awkwardly walk away with this microphone.
All right, well, good morning. I am Matt Oyer. I'm the Chief Learning Officer for NASPO. So I do work with Megan on supporting legal education. She is part of our team. Overall, our department has a number of different areas, but we are focused on the education and research initiatives for NASPO. So we have a lot of different things that we do, including the practical guide that is sitting in front of you, our textbook that NASPO writes, and we do every 5 years or so. We actually have a new edition coming next year, so you'll see that come out at some point. But we support our members through a number of different ways, including Procurement U, which is our education platform where we do online courses and trainings on all kinds of different procurement topics. So that is available to you. It is all free. So if you have an interest in kind of doing a dive into procurement topics, whether it's negotiations, RFPs, all of those types of things, that is available to you. You can check that out by going to the NASPO website. And we have Procurement 101 for folks that are newer. That's always been a popular one. I know we've had attorneys take it as well. So we do lots of education there that is available to you all. You can join those webinars, those trainings, take those courses as well. We also have our research and innovation team who does lead up the writing of the practical guide textbook. They do a number of publications, white papers, a blog, lots of different research and writing there. A couple things I wanted to mention to you, and I strongly recommend go to naspo.org, check out our research tab that we have on there, because there's lots of papers on different topics related to procurement. But we also have two resources there that I think would be of interest to you all in particular. So we have a preference repository that tracks all the different state preferences, bid preferences that states have, and you can do an interactive map to take a look at those. So if that's something that is of interest, if that's something your state is looking at, certainly that should be helpful. And then we have a repository of state practices, which has tracked by states based off of survey data, and then my team goes into to Westlaw actually and confirms all of it, but it tracks all different state statutes, everything from purchasing authority, delegation, things like that. So we have a number of different categories in there. So if you're looking to see what other states are doing, if you're comparing, those are good resources. And the other thing I would say is that we are here to support you. Our team is here if you have questions, if you are looking for an example from another state, whatever. If we can help you, reach out to us, reach out to Megan, and we will support you if we can. So welcome. This is a great opportunity for you all to connect. Megan did this last year as well, and I know people really got a lot out of it. So I hope you enjoy the next few days, and please reach out to our team if we can do anything to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. So now I'm going to go back and introduce you to the C&E team. So these are the ladies in red coats that you see walking around, and they have true red coat service. These are the ladies that made this event happen. So every delicious morsel of food you put in your mouth, every nicely air-conditioned room, and setting all these things out, all that has to be done by somebody, and these people do that work. And so I just want to thank them for all of their hard work and effort in making this go correctly. So if you see them, thank them, and you can ask them a question. They know everything, right, Christine? You know everything. And our AV guys in the back of the room making this all work and making us look good, thank you guys so much for your work as well. All right, so we have leadership here. Hopefully you guys will meet some of our NASPO leadership. I just, again, wanted to put their faces in your faces so that you could know what they look like if you see them. Angela Schell, Thor from Alaska, he's our president-elect for 2024. So NASPO does a 3-year sort of cycle on our presidents. You become president-elect, then you are president for a year, and then you are immediate past president for a year. So it keeps some stability in the leadership area. And this is our executive council. So right now, Delbert's our president right now. Valerie is president-elect, so she'll be president in 2024. And then Steve is our secretary-treasurer. He is appointed into that position by the president. And then the immediate past president is Deb DeMoore. Delbert should be our immediate past president, but he's also our current president because Jamie Shore was going to be president, and then she left Maine. So now she's not going to be president anymore. So we had to shift that around. So if that seems a little confusing, that's why. So what makes this event so special? It's because you're here in this room with all of these people who know exactly what you do. And you're going to hear that a bunch of times, but it's because it's really important. And I hope that when you leave here, you have a whole list of people that you could call with a question that you have. That is my wish for you. We are here to network. We are here to learn. This is rare, right? To find a practice-specific CLE that feeds you and houses you and all that cool stuff. So I hope that you enjoy that, and we thank NASPO for funding this event. This was actually supposed to be an every other year event, and it was so popular and loved that we now do it every year, and here we are on number 10. So, and then partner. So when I try to describe NASPO to someone who doesn't understand what we do, I say that we are a convener, because we kind of create a safe space for people to come together and have difficult conversations that you might not be able to have in your state, that might make you feel uncomfortable. We can bring all those people together in a room, and it feels much better because you sort of have a mediator there. So that's kind of what we see ourselves as. So I am proud to bring as many partners as I can into this event so that we can all coordinate. So, for example, George Washington University is one of our academic partners, and they will be here. They have an LLM program in government procurement, which I didn't even know existed before I came here. I always thought you only got a tax LLM. I thought that was the only one, but there's many. And so we have made those people our partners, and they're here so that you can talk to them. Chris Eukins will be here from GW. So the State Procurement Attorney Forum. I think this is one of my favorite ways that you guys interact, because you're just interacting with each other. And staff, we don't have to do anything. I don't have to answer these. I should answer them if I know the answer, but I don't. This is you guys talking to each other, right? Staff doesn't go in and answer every question. This is for you guys. So I see here that we already have some people who asked some questions, and you can ask anything. And this is a password-protected community. We go through and audit it every now and then and make sure that everyone in it is a current practicing state attorney. That's the goal. So while I wouldn't say go in there with reckless abandon and post things, you can feel a little safer knowing that it's behind a password and only the other attorneys should be seeing this. So if you're in the NASPO network as a NASPO primary member, for example, and you're not an attorney, you won't even see this network. It won't show up for you. So it's just for us. So before you guys came, we did a little survey when you registered. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about who you are and who's here. So we have a fairly even split between people who are embedded and not, and then we have this other category, which honestly I could have put those people in one of those other two categories, but I decided to let them have their other. So there is another category, but it's always interesting to me that it is fairly evenly split between the states. We also have almost a majority of first-timers, and this is usually the way it is as well, about half and half. So raise your hand if you're a first-timer. This is your first time at Law Institute. Yeah, this room is full of them. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you feel you're enjoying yourself so far. It's only been 30 minutes. Okay, how much work experience do you have? Now, this should make you guys especially feel good, right? Because you're in the majority. So this is the 0 to 5 year category. I think part of that is because we're offering boot camp now, which is great. We had 15 people at this last year. And look at this room. So I'm really happy about that, and I hope that you guys get a lot out of this content today. Top 5. So here are some tips based on my personal experience at 8 of these things. Write it down. Last year, I had someone come up to me and say, I'm so overwhelmed. And I said, no, I just want you to be regular-whelmed. So in order to be regular-whelmed, I recommend that you write things down or type them or whatever it is that you do to remember things. And one of my suggestions is that you make yourself a little page in your journal or whatever that says, my takeaways. And after every session, think about what is the thing about that session that I can take home and share with my colleagues who didn't get to come, boo, sad for them, or I can use in my practice, and write that down. So by the end of this, you will have at least 15 things that you can take back and say you learned from Law Institute. So I encourage you to please do that. Find a new resource. Find one person who knows something about a challenge that you're working on, and then reach out to them when this conference is over and say, hey, it was really great to meet you. Thank you for the help you gave me. Or ask them another question, but create a relationship so that you can have some back and forth. Ask a question. There are so many ways for you to ask a question. You can push these mics. You can raise your hand. You can write it on a note card and pass it to a NASPO staff member or me, and we will get your question heard. Challenge yourself. So if you're an introvert, try to start a conversation with somebody. If you're an extrovert, try to listen more at the round tables instead of talking. So I just encourage you to maybe step out of your box a little bit and try something new while you're here. If you're not usually a person who goes to breakfast and eats breakfast, that's me, go to breakfast so you can meet some people at breakfast, because the breakfast people are different from the dinner people. You know what I mean. Enjoy the experience. So we're in New Orleans. Come on, you guys. This is a beautiful city. It's one of my favorite places in America. I always say, if you parachuted into New Orleans blindfolded, you'd know you were here in 30 seconds. And that's my favorite thing about this city. So I hope that you get to go out and enjoy a little bit of New Orleans while you're here. I know we've packed your agenda, so that's my fault if you don't. So a little bit of an agenda overview. I hope you have your spectacles on this morning. This is a little tiny, but if you have the app in your phone, everything is in the app, you guys. App. And this schedule is in the app as well, and this PowerPoint is in the app. So all the PowerPoints, all the slides, all the materials are in the app for you to access. So today we have Spotting Legal Issues in Government Contracting up next with Keith McCook. Then we have Successful Government Contracting, What Does It Take? Intro to bid protests, client relations in the state, and then we'll have roundtables. So let me explain the roundtables a little bit. We have a jam-packed agenda, and we've we expanded this year. We only did 30-minute sessions last year. This year we're doing it an hour because people said, not enough, I want more. So we'll try an hour this year. But in order to make sure that there's time for discussion, I added this roundtable session at the end. So there will be 2 roundtable sessions. You'll have one here at boot camp, and you'll have one with everybody tomorrow. And this one is just for you guys. So every session is going to have a table for you to sit and discuss, and then we'll have a couple of extra tables, so with some additional topics. So at the end of the day, you will be able to ask these people whatever you want and discuss with them. So as they're presenting, if you don't want to ask a question in the middle, write it down, and when we get to the roundtable session, you'll be able to ask it then. Okay? And then we have dinner tonight at Fogo de Chao downstairs. That's the place where they shave the meat off onto your plate from the giant skewers, and who doesn't love that? That's super cool. And then we have the full Law Institute starting tomorrow, the big show in the big room. And we have all of these lovely topics. I would like to specifically point out that we have State Ramp here with us. That's another one of our convener activities, is we brought State Ramp to talk to you guys about the cybersecurity verification that they're doing. And we have DOJ is here, don't be scared. But our friend Dan Glad has come to talk about the Procurement Collusion Strike Force, which is the coolest name. If you want to change your legal department name, that is it, okay? So, and then we have a mental health session, and we have a lovely off-site dinner at Galatoire's. Did I say that right? Okay, good. It's apparently a very fancy restaurant, so we're all very excited. And then Friday morning, we will have Italy joining us. Gianluigi Albano, who wrote the book literally on framework agreements, will be joining us via satellite. It's not, but I just wanted to say that because it sounds cool. And then we have an ethics session, artificial intelligence, which I know everybody's excited about. And I have it on good authority that Bob was updating his presentation mere minutes ago to add the stuff about the new White House order on artificial intelligence. So I think there will be some content in there that will be super up to date for you guys. And then legislating contract clauses and our closing reception. So I hope you guys stay through the whole conference. I understand if people have to go home and they have obligations, but I do hope that you can stay. We are obviously hoping you stay Friday night so you can come to the reception. The closing reception will have champagne and tiny king cakes. Who doesn't want tiny king cakes? So I really encourage you to come. That's the thing I've been saying. If you want a tiny king cake, you got to come to that reception. Ask a question. There are 3 ways to ask a question at Law Institute. Raise your hand. Write it on a note card, hand it to any NASPO staff member. NASPO staff, we all have gray lanyards on, and some of us have the little magnetic ones, but that's how you'll know we're staff. Our guests will be wearing red, and you all have blue. So if you walk up to somebody and they have a blue lanyard, they're another state attorney or primary member. If they have a red lanyard, they're a speaker or they're a special guest. And if they have a gray lanyard, they're NASPO staff, just so you know who you're having a conversation with. And use the app. There is a section in the app for every session where you can type in a question. And we will see that, and we can prompt the speaker with your question. Are there any questions about that? Okay, that was very meta. So I just want to say, don't take yourselves too seriously the next 3 days. And take a minute to enjoy yourself. I think that being an attorney, when I interviewed clerks at my first law firm, the last question I would ask is, tell me your favorite lawyer joke. And I did that because if you can't laugh about this, you're not going to make it. Because this is a crazy job and it has crazy things that happen. And you have to have a little bit of a sense of humor about yourself and don't take yourself too seriously. So I put this up because I think this is a good reminder that a little humor can go a long way, and can go a long way connecting you with your client as well. So enjoy the conference. This is my email address. I'm decent at email. Decent? I respond pretty quickly. So if you need anything at all, you can reach out to me. If you're interested in participating next year and speaking and helping in planning this conference, I'm always happy to hear from you.